Ladies and gentlemen, do you remember this video right here? This was the moment the House of Representatives passed a foreign aid bill that awarded over $90 billion to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. And our House of Representatives broke out in cheers, chants of Ukraine, and waved the Ukraine flag on the floor. Well, now it looks like that there are some Republicans who are not very happy with the fact that this happened, and that there are members of the House who are supposed to represent the United States, but instead they appear to have allegiance to a foreign country. This is an article. Republican bill would ban lawmakers from waving foreign flags on the House floor after Democrats whipped out Ukrainian flags to celebrate passage of $95 billion foreign aid package. You know, I personally think that this is good. I don't think any other flag should be waved on the House floor other than the American flag. But this article says a new GOP-led bill seeks to ban members from flying any foreign nation's flags on the House floor after Democrats waved Ukrainian flags as a long-awaited foreign aid bill passed. On the floor of the House, there should only be one flag on display, ours. Representative Kat Cammack of Florida says. She's the author of the bill, and the legislation has 30 Republican co-sponsors. As the House, in a 311 and 112 vote, passed some $60 billion for Ukraine last week, House Democrats triumphantly flapped their blue and yellow flags and cheered at the bill that may cost Speaker Johnson his job. And you know what? I wouldn't be very sad to see him go, because this guy, he absolutely flipped on a dime. Before he was Speaker of the House, he was saying that he would never pass a bill like this unless we got funding for our border, unless we closed our border. That was the thing that all of this foreign aid hinged on. All of a sudden, he went into this back room with some elites, and he came out. He had this 1,000-yard stare, and he was talking like a robot. Oh, we must pass foreign aid, and we must do it now. So it was very weird. But a small handful of Republicans also held Ukrainian flags. I mean, get them out of here at this point. I mean, these people, in my opinion, they're traitors. The move prompted Representative Anna Paulina Luna to go up to the microphone and shout, "Put those damn flags away." And Mark Molinaro, representative from New York, who presided over the vote, to tell Democrats their stunt was inappropriate. And this is Thomas Massie. He also talked about it, and he almost got fined, I believe it was $500 for sharing this video on Twitter. And I believe it was Speaker Johnson who decided not to fine him, but it was only after he faced a lot of backlash. But Thomas Massie said this on Twitter. He said, "This is the U.S. House of Representatives under the direction of Speaker Mike Johnson. Democrats are celebrating his total capitulation with no victory to securing our border." I believe he was the one that initially shared this video, and it was pretty shocking to see American representatives, United States representatives on the House floor waving a foreign flag. I mean, it might seem like such a small thing, but when you think of it, why would they be doing this? Why? It's not just because they want us to spread democracy. No. It's a lot deeper than that. Everyone knows it. They know it. You know it. We all know it. They were reminded it is a violation of decorum to wave flags on the floor. The flag waving prompted a firestorm from hardline conservatives, with Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona claiming House members were showing they care more about Ukraine than you. This is exactly what they're showing. This is the U.S. House of Representatives under the direction of Speaker Mike Johnson. Democrats are celebrating his total capitulation with no victory for securing our border, wrote Thomas Massie, a co-sponsor of the motion to vacate for Mike Johnson. Later, he wrote that he'd be fined for taking a video on the House floor where pictures and videos are prohibited. Instead of fining Democrats for waving flags, the House Sergeant of Arms just called and said, "I will be fined $500 if I don't delete this video post." Mike Johnson really wants to memory hold this betrayal of America. Johnson, and this is what I was talking about earlier, he realized that this was some pretty bad press for him, because he already just threw the American people under the bus, and this was getting out now. But he intervened to undo the fine. And he said, upon reviewing Representative Massie's tweet, "Our team reached out to the Sergeant at Arms. I did not agree with this assessment, and there will be no fine imposed on Representative Massie." And this is what Senator Rand Paul said. He said, "Ukrainian flags fly in the chamber of the United States House of Representatives as they vote to send more of your hard-earned money to a corrupt foreign regime. And just like that, they shout, 'Ukraine, Ukraine,' while happily working to secure Ukraine's borders, but not ours." And there was also a member of the House that equated our border with Ukraine borders. He said, Ukraine borders are our borders. Like, how does that make sense whatsoever? Right? Is he saying that Ukraine and the United States are equivalent? It's just absolutely insane how these members of the House treat Ukraine. And if Ukraine's borders are our borders, why don't we take care of our borders too? But no, instead of taking care of our borders, there's hundreds of millions of dollars in this bill, this $60 billion that go to Ukraine that secure Ukraine's borders. But some Republicans were upset that Ukraine funding had passed without border security measures after months of Johnson saying he would not secure Ukraine's border before the U.S. one. For the swamp, it's Ukraine first and America last, Representative Dan Bishop said of the flag waving on X, gleefully waving Ukrainian flags as the American people suffer under Biden's border invasion. Too much Ukraine, not enough USA, Senator Mike Lee of Utah wrote on X along with a video of the gleeful Democrats. Even Nicole Shanahan, the running mate of independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., derided the display on X. And she said, I remember as a 12-year-old waking up in downtown Oakland and realizing our car had been broken into and the $1.50 I was relying on to buy a McDonald's breakfast sandwich had been stolen. But watching our leadership today send $60 billion to Ukraine while waving another nation's flag is gut-wrenching. What about Americans? And here, once again, is a video. But the Ukraine aid was part of a foreign aid package for U.S. allies around the world that has since been signed into law by President Biden. The package in total gives $26 billion to Israel, $60.8 billion to Ukraine, and $8 billion to the Indo-Pacific through a combination of military and humanitarian aid. And this money that is given to foreign countries, this is, I believe, 12 times the amount that it would take to secure our border completely, like border wall, most advanced security ever. So they're taking this money that could have went to our border 12 times over, and they are giving it to foreign countries instead. The package, consisting of 3 separate aid bills, was voted on alongside a 4th sidecar that includes a potential TikTok ban. This has been signed into law now. TikTok is being forced to divest or be banned in the United States, and a vehicle to repurpose seized Russian assets for Ukraine. The Ukraine bill includes $23 billion for replenishing U.S. stockpiles that have been depleted for the fight in Russia. Some $11 billion would go to U.S. military operations in the region, and $14 billion would go to procuring advanced weapon systems. Another $26 billion would go to oversight and accountability of equipment given to Ukraine. Oversight and accountability. 2 separate economic assistance funds worth $7.85 billion and $1.58 billion would have also been offered to Ukraine under a loan structure. The president has wide authority over the terms of the loan and could forgive half of it after November 15, 2024, and half after January 1st, 2026. The first tranche of weapons, long-range missiles, ammunition, drones, and vehicles is expected to arrive in Ukraine within days. The Israel security bill will offer $4 billion to replenish Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system and billions more for weapon systems, artillery, and munitions, as well as an additional $2.4 billion for U.S. operations in the region. $9 billion in that bill goes to humanitarian relief for Palestinians in Gaza. But that's what we have going on, guys. What do you think about members of the House waving the Ukraine flag on the House floor? Do you think that's okay? Because, I know there's been a big uproar about this, but I don't think that that should be acceptable. I think the United States flag, the U.S. flag, should be the only flag waved on the floor of the House. But let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.